Let's say you are completely new to AI. So let's mkdir. This is something you might do. You might hit terminal, which will launch something like this, and then you'll be in your root directory. At this point, you can create another directory. In this example, we'll do one called I don't know what let's do IDK what I'm doing. IDK what I'm doing. So then that will make a directory called I don't know what I'm doing. And if you don't know what a directory is a folder. So now let's CD into that. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll say Claude. Yeah, I trust this folder. I don't know what I'm doing. You might be like, but Brett, you of course know what you're doing. That's a fine place to start. Most useful work begins there. What's in front of you right now? A specific project, a blank screen, a decision you're stuck on, or just a general, where do I even begin feeling? Tell me what you're looking for, and I'll help you find the next move. See, what's interesting here is the way Claude code actually works. The only reason Claude worked here is because I've already installed Claude. What makes this interesting is I have a claude.md file at the root, the home directory, the home folder. There's a hidden file or a hidden folder called .claude. Within there is a claude.md. That gets picked up by the prompting engine. What do I mean prompting engine? Sometimes you send messages to AI. When you send messages to AI, it keeps a context. I'm not exactly sure how it ingests the context, but like if I was to build the system as simple as possible, I would just take the claude.md file and prepend it, not append, prepend. Make it the prefix for whatever my actual prompt is. So whatever would be in my claude.md file would be like prepended here. So I'm surprised because I have a pretty robust claude.md file that it doesn't know, that it didn't mention anything about potatoes. I could ask it about potatoes, like, what about potatoes? And it'll be like, it'll probably give us, this is going to be hyper contextualized because it has a relationship with me. So it says, we're looking in users Brett Owers .claude projects, what I'm doing memory. Look for users Brett Owers potatoes. I do have a directory called potatoes. So now it's going to scan through that. And then it's probably going to ask me about like one of the projects in there. And there's so many that it's going to be like, oh, what's going on? Pick one that's been nagging me. Potatoes lives over there, sprawling, lots of sub projects. Exactly. So that's actually not what we're doing right now. We're trying to understand how this piece of technology works. We're going to try and wrap this up within 7 more minutes, 10-minute video to wrap up like what Claude Code can do. Because let's say you're totally new to programming. This might be a wonderful place to start. So it also might be a horrible place to start because you might start to rely on this tool to do everything for you. And I really want to get through to you that that's not the right approach. I might not be able to give you the right approach, but I can start to point you towards it and you'll start to get it as we move forward. So we're sitting in, I don't know what I'm doing, that directory. My business, all of the files are in potatoes. So clearly we're not dealing with my business right now. We're just trying to get you onboarded. So pick one thing that's been nagging you. Tell me, well, okay, this is how powerful AI is. I can just say one. It's nagging me that I don't really know how Claude works, Claude or Claude code works under the hood. Anthropic, Perplexity, ChatGPT. What are we doing? Tell me which repo take stock. I can walk through potatoes and tell you what's been touched. That is excellent. Take stock. I can walk through potatoes and tell you what's been touched recently or what's gone cold so you can see where momentum actually is. So one strategy that I use is in my claudecode.md, describe the claude.md file, especially as it pertains to the root, the project, and sub-projects / subders. Just talk it out. We're vibing. Which of those feels right? So while we're doing this, we're taking stock. The cool thing about take stock is when you're working with this thing called Git, which is a version control system, you can do this thing called commit. Let's say I'm writing code, commit, push it to production. Now everyone on the internet, 1 billion people, because that's the type of code that I'm writing. Um, a billion people see it. Now, let's say I want to make a change. I don't really like the color of this orange back here, or I don't really like this mashed potatoes in butter because it's such a different style than Russ, Russ, our perfect Russ. So, what do I mean? What am I saying here? I might make a change, and what do you think? I make a change to code, and all of the sudden, every billion, all of those billions of people all of a sudden see the change? The answer is no. So there's a whole process or strategy, and there's a variety of strategies, but there's some canonical strategies. One of those canonical strategies is known as Git. And you can use this thing called Git Flow, GitHub Flow. There's all these different ways, but basically you have your main or master branch, branch meaning the code. You have the code, your master code, your main code, and it's perfect. It's in production, but it's got that weird mashed potatoes. And I'm sorry to come at you, mashed potatoes. I don't. Let's use masher. Masher's clearly messed up. Look at him. Something's up with this guy, huh? What are you smiling about? You about to kill a potato or something? So, and we want to change it. We make the change. We commit that change, meaning, all right, we changed the file, but now we actually want to commit that file. And we just committed it. We're going to go with main from now on. We committed it to main, and then we pushed it, which kicked off a process that distributed that to a billion people. That's its own problem, its own software problem. The thing is, though, that didn't get us anywhere closer to understanding what's going on. What it did do, though, is demonstrate that you can have different instances of your code, and some of them you can point at production, some of them you can point at development. So we said the main branch is pointing at production. You might have a develop branch that points at development where people are testing things. Then you might have a feature branch where it's just you working on it. Let's say you had a whole team of people. You can't all be picking and choosing how to change develop. You might all be working on a separate feature and then try and merge those back into develop. And then once that passes QA, you get that into main. That's like Git in a nutshell, Git Flow in a nutshell, I think. So now we're looking at Claude though. So we have 2 minutes left, and what we're going to do now is, all right, make an app where if I run npm run dev, it will beautifully describe these things. It's an education app for someone who has no idea about Git, Claude, JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS, but they are actually a master potato salesman. So it's probably going to ask me for some permissions. And in the meantime, we can read what it responded with. Anthropic, the company that made me, cool. OpenAI, totally separate company. Perplexity, not a model maker. It's a search answer wrapper that, cool, we're skipping. How Claude Code actually works under the hood, a turn-based loop. Each turn bundles a payload, system prompt, tool definitions, Claude MD files, this is the context, ships it to their Anthropic's API. That stands for, remember, this is the company, this is application programming interface. This is a standard way to communicate with systems or applications. The model is stateless. So the backend is not maintaining the actual service itself is not maintaining the context. It's either me maintaining the context or they have a database that's maintaining the context. And when I make a call, it sees that I'm passing in an ID for the conversation we're having. That ID can be used to grab the rest of the context that it saved, but the server itself is stateless. I find that when this conversation about state gets a little confusing to people who are new here, because there's concepts of, like, it's very rare that you're going to hear of a stateful server. That said, pretty sure game servers or like WebSockets, that's stateful, but I might be using some terms wrong there. Then the model writes a response. If it wants to do something, reads a blah, 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 item, it's a tool call instead of plain text. Yeah, it'll execute something, which is what makes Claude Code so exciting. The CLI executes the tool locally, feeds it back to the model. So whatever response, hopefully it's text, and it pipes that text in. Pipe just means sends in coding terms, really. If you pipe text, you're basically saying this thing has text as output, and pipe it means to turn that output into input somewhere else. So instruction files, the CLI auto injects into context, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it was asking for permission. We're actually running out of time. I'm going to give myself another 5 minutes. I can do whatever I want. Want me to load skills into, want me to, the stack, so Claude, subdirectory. Did it say hydrogen? Yeah, okay, project root, repo Claude, loaded with. E.g., you could have Potatoes Claude MD with Shopify Hydrogen specific rules. Yeah, exactly. So Potatoes Web is a Shopify Hydrogen app. Hydrogen, I think it's Shopify's like premier or go-to stack backend technology. I could ask it. Include a section on what Hydrogen Shopify are. This is a demo app. I was going to say copy a high quality design website, but reality actually just use include a section on what Shopify are. There's a demo app. Make it use some of the skills that we have registered, and for each registered skill you implement, describe it in detail on this demo app. So one cool thing that I've got going on here, and also describe what Vite is. I see it everywhere. I know that it's like some tool. I think it's some build tool for optimizing your build size with TypeScript. I use it all the time, but like sometimes, okay, I put this in my last video. It was something along the lines of like the trolley problem. The trolley problem is like, okay, there's a train and it's about to hit 5 people, choo-choo, and then there's a button you can press or a lever. If you pull the lever, it'll only hit 1 person. So what do? Do you save 5 lives and take 1 that was safe otherwise? Or do you take that 1 life? Or do you just let nature play out? And like you didn't involve yourself, so therefore, like because you're detached from the situation, it's more ethical to do that. Quite frankly, I look at it more like you have to answer the question. I'm a man of faith. I believe in God. I think one day we're going to have to stand before God and give an account for our actions. So in this instance, it's like if we live in a logical universe, you can even take God out of this. I mean, you can't actually, but if we're going to live in a logical universe, if we're going to agree that the laws of logic apply, if we're going to leverage technologies that have been developed based on engineering principles derived from like discoveries in science from physics, chemistry, we have to understand that you have to become the person that embodies that which yields the fruit that you seek. What do I mean by that? If you work out all the time, you are going to look like someone who works out all the time. The same thing goes for education. So with this whole Vite thing, I'm like, all right, well, I know I use this technology, this tool all the time, but if someone asked me about it, I don't think I could adequately tell them like exactly what Vite is, or Vite, or VITE. I'm pretty confident that it's like the best tool that Claude uses to do some of the builds. I'm pretty sure it's a build tool. It's probably going to say it in there somewhere. But and so that's why I'm doing this here, because I'm like, this is all, I'm paying for this already. Like there's limits to Claude, but those limits are only as, those limits I rarely exceed. I think I exceeded them 1 time and then I doubled my subscription and I haven't, I doubled my subscription and then like I went crazy with it. I had one project with like 22 different verticals in that project. And I said, do something over here, do something over here, do something over here. And I wasn't doing any QA. I was just like, let's see how far we can push this. And like while this loads, I can actually show you what that project was. It actually is the first project that I ever developed. It's called, it's funny that it's Cell Mobile because it's not Cell Mobile, but if we do Flutter run, like, so all of this, it's building it right now. Once this is ready, I'm going to be able to do this thing. So this is a Flutter app, the one that we're about to explore, but I don't know what I'm doing. We're going to be able to do this because this is the command that I said I want to be able to run to confirm that this works. So this, we're going to say 2. Let's run this. So this, I'm going to describe to you how I max out my limits while we like see what's going on over here. All right, so it did work. Okay. So if I pull this over here, Flutter run, let me do this, and I'm running it in Chrome. So now I had built an app similar to this. The actual app was this one, organelle. So it was called Explore the Cell. And if you enter the cell, you can explore the nucleolus, the nucleotides, RNA, the messenger, base pairs, DNA. Some of them, like I just gave the definitions. The one that I think the most interesting part of this app was this notion that ribosomes are like the machine elves. If you've read any of my books, you know that I wrote one that like kind of is machine elf centric, and there's a lot there. So I had made this in the past. But then I was like, well, what about every other layer of existence, like molecules and atoms and particles and just the essence of something? This is more philosophical. And then the essence of nothing, nothing as something. This is an idea that I'm super interested in exploring. Then what if we go up? We got tissues, we got organs, we got organ systems, we got organisms. So all of these, I'm like, all right, I don't think I've ever even looked at all of these, but we could zoom in on a legume, we can zoom in on a root, and it like will navigate us through. So now we're on organs. We can go to dermal tissue. Now we're on tissues. They're all tied together. I'm like, oh, this is nifty. I think ground tissue versus mirror. Yeah, so this is actually a little more involved than I thought. So you can even go to explore the cell.web.app. That actually will take you to this site, and you can do whatever you want with it. The main thing with it though was not the main thing with it. I maxed out my credits by saying, all right, you see where this play button is? Okay, that one I guess is broken. Organs? This one works. So this is clearly broken, but I can gather water, gather sunlight, gather sun. The hitboxes are clearly messed up, but it's just like just this dumb app, right? One of them was actually kind of fun. So I think it was particles. Particles, yeah. I think it's a particle accelerator. You have to like, if you're on, I guess it might on web, it might also, or mobile, it might also be just like tap, 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 and then you get money for potato research. So this one, yeah, what you're trying to do is if you tap, it moves it up, but you want it to stay within that green bounds. I think it might be fun for like a Mario Party-esque type of game where you have all these different weird things like, okay, farm system, farm panic, tap, scare the crows, ignore, they feasted, oops, water, there's no graphics. I don't even know what I'm doing here. Let's check out financials. This one I think is like, yeah, okay, we gotta there buy. Oh, I have no money. Okay, sell. Oh, okay, buy. Oop, sell. And let's add our multiplier. Sell. Okay, buy. So it's a silly game, 60 seconds. I think all of these would do better as like 7-second game. Ooh, I got diamond hands. So all of this stupid stuff that I made, planets, gravity well. Okay, things are crashing in. I think there's things that are trying to destroy that red stuff. My dog wants to go for a walk. Cosmic structures, infinity. This one's just a tapper. How fast can I tap? I don't know if you remember that game, Cookie Cutter. But all right, it should probably be done. It's not done yet. So npm install, that's a good sign. That means that we think that we finished coding. Now it's time to install all of our packages or dependencies. What is a package? If you're a potato farmer, you might get a package that's got your seeds in it. Maybe that package is coming from a company that bundles together a lot of other stuff. That maybe has both your seeds, maybe it's got some fertilizer, maybe it's got some pesticides. So it's a package, right? So in coding language, a package relates to dependencies. If you want to grow potatoes, you're going to need fertilizer. I think you may or may not need pesticides. You're going to need water. You're going to need sunlight. You're going to need sod, loosely aerated, nitrogenous soil. Potato or coding, on the other hand, in this example, we're using this language called JavaScript or TypeScript. I'm not sure. I think it's using. I'm not sure which one it's actually using right now because Node is the backend for JavaScript. I don't like that. I really don't like that. But TypeScript, it's probably JavaScript if it's given that number. Oh no, it's TypeScript. So TS means TypeScript. Otherwise, it would have said JS. So it doesn't have a setting yet, so it's creating it. While all this works, a package, you define a package with a variety of dependencies. So whereas maybe you have one package that gives you your fertilizer, another one that gives you your seed potatoes, in coding, you might have a package that says, all right, a lot of people, they put their email in and then they add an extra space at the end for some reason. Let's add a package that will auto trim that. Horrible idea for a package. If you're a programmer, you know that that's just silly, even though some of the most popular packages just do stuff like that. Um, but the idea is you might have a variety of packages. That's why we saw npm install. I got excited because I thought we might be ready. Now we're ready. So skills I actually applied, impeccable. This means that the design should be pretty rock solid because impeccable uses some cool designs. None of this existed like before we started this. So we're back in our directory from the beginning. Now, if I hit ls, we're going to see all the files that exist in this directory. Where did all those come from? Claude made them. Now, if I do cat, I don't even know what cat stands for. What does cat stand for in Unix? I just know that it prints out the contents of the file in the terminal. Concatenate. Concatenate. So I guess it's like the contents of this file, concatenate it into the printing of a single file in the terminal. It's just the degenerate case, concatenating one thing with nothing. Oh, I didn't know any of that. So I guess you can cat multiple things at once and then pipe that somewhere. Interesting. And we learned what pipe meant earlier. Pipe, you turn something that was standard output into standard input. So now we do cat.package.json. How did I type so fast? If you hit tab while you're in the terminal, anything that can be executed or like that exists within that folder will try and autocomplete. So we see npm.run dev vite. So cat vite config. This says we're going to be running it on port 4747. Interesting thing here, in my claw.md, I got frustrated because I just spawn off, I like making services. I like making apps. Ports. You have like, I think 50,000 ports on your laptop, around about. I could be wrong there. How many ports are standard on a laptop? It's a dumb question. I don't think the fact that it's a laptop makes any difference. It's probably like 52,000, 51,000, 50,000. Is it around 50,000? Wait, what? What? I thought it was like, oh, there it is. 65,535. That is network ports. So the network port it's running on is 4747. The plugin we're running is React. Strict port, correct. I frequently spawn off apps. If you don't define the port, I told it like before you ever like create a package. So in the Claude.md, the thing that's telling ChatGPT, no, Claude Code, what to do, it is very often trying to like spawn off a service on a port that's already occupied. I got frustrated with that, so I told it in the Claude.md, check the ports. I think there's a command that you can run. I think it's like ifconfig or ipconfig, and you'll see all of the ports that are occupied. You have to like kind of search through it. You have to like, it's kind of a skill. You can use the chat to do that. I don't know if it's a security risk for me to like show you that right now, so I'm not going to do it. But with port 4747, pretty confident that it's not being used. So I'm going to on another, this is another, this is a different monitor, a different display. All right, it's not running. It lied to me. See, when you do these things, it'll run on localhost 4747. So you might be like, why are you showing me that it failed? Because it's probably just not running. Now it's running. Let's see how it did. All right, not too bad. It tried to make a potato. I'm not impressed. Potato Salesman School, Volume 1, for the master of the bin who has never typed a tag. That's kind of funny, because the bin would be someone who, like, the potato bin, but has never typed a tag. Doesn't know Git. Git tagging is something you'll use to version. You might say, you'll do like git tag 1.0.0 for version 1, or if it's a totally new project, you might do like git tag 0.0.1 to say like, this is the first time we've done anything. Oh, this is like kind of a standard practice you would do as well. You would do something like git init, git add. It's not that sophisticated to just write git add, period. You'd be adding individual files that you want to save. I say save, but the reality is I have everything on autosave, and what we're doing is committing. Just because it's saved doesn't mean that it's going to be committed. I could save it, but then if I check out, which just means switch to a different branch like master, main, develop, I have to make those if they don't exist yet. Um, what happens? Something. This is usually I go initial commit because I'm lazy. Usually you want something sophisticated there though, like what happened. 8 things under the website explained at the stand. Git, Claude, HTML, CSS, Vite, and Shopify Hydrogen. Each one described once for the master salesman who has never opened a code editor, then described once more for back office. Look at this ugly line. It's probably made with it's probably an SVG. Ew, and it's trying to don't look like that. I don't like that. Go back to this. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna just I did, what is it? You do inspect. I can also run just F12. Yeah, F12 will do that. And it launches this thing called DevTools. Oh no. Anything secret here? Nope. All right, good. That means we can one-shot this. So I want this on my other display. Then we have this over here. A fresh notebook starts every season and the old ones go up on the shelf. Imagine that for your sales pitch. Every time you change your pitch, you do not throw away the old one. Yeah, that's Git. You photograph it, label it, Tuesday, post rain, price update, and slip it into a binder. Tomorrow you can flip back to last Tuesday's exact pitch in seconds. So that's what Git can do. So I guess we might as well just read through all of these. This might be the only actual value you get from this video. Every time you change your pitch, you do not throw the old one away. Tomorrow you can flip back to last Tuesday's exact pitch in seconds. You can compare 2 pitches side by side. You can keep one shelf for the festival circuit and another shelf for grocery wholesale, both alive and well. When the festival pitch finds a great closing line, you can lift just that line over to the wholesale pitch and keep going. Yeah, so the idea is you can make updates. That update you can go live with, and then you can make updates without going live. And then maybe you make an update that you really want to go live with, but you don't want all those other updates. You can just cherry pick that one update you made and drop it into production. You kind of have to be savvy about it. The thing is, you can talk to ChatGPT in such a way, or I keep saying ChatGPT, Claude. You can talk to Claude or whatever agent you're using in such a way to do these things in particular. I think the key to advancing in the AI engineering space is knowing what's possible as opposed to knowing exactly how to do everything. Because if you know exactly how to do everything, you don't even need AI. But you have this like master lawyer, master doctor, master engineer, master software coach that sometimes makes silly mistakes. And that's like, we're here for taste. We're here to make sure things are like human. I don't want to make claims about whether or not AI will ever be able to match that or not. I personally think that it's far too often there are small, subtle nuances that just like reek of AI, and maybe they're pushing those away, but maybe our eyes are just going to get trained even more on like what makes things human. So like this squiggly line, I don't think any human would ever think that this is like an exciting design element, but maybe because it's like sod, AI conceived of it. I could ask it if that's why it did that, but quite frankly, myself and the system probably don't know. It just knows like, all right, to make something fancy, you probably want design elements. What's a good design element given the brand? Yada, yada, yada. So we talked about a commit. We talked about merging, which is like pulling things in that we want to keep. A repository is the project's plus its full history. And that's like the directory and all of the different Git branches within that directory, as well as every commit that's existed throughout that and every branch that exists. It's a mouthful. Well, this looks garbage. So I think that maybe something, I feel like it thinks that there's going to be something over here. I don't know what's going on. Why is it like this? What if we do that? What if we do this? No, it actually just did really poorly. So yeah, I'm just doing some zoom ins. I'm not impressed with that one. I bet it does it. Yeah, it probably messed up for both of them. So CSS, that's cascading style sheets. Claude is the tool that we're using right now. And I guess it's just going to remain a mystery. HTML is hypertext markup language. There's a sign that reads potatoes. There's a bin that, yeah, so it's like very verbose, very textual. It's tags, it's elements, it's clear. It is what it is. It's not doing something special behind the scenes. It's defining something, a document, hypertext markup language. You're creating a document that an engine, such as a browser, can pick up and display in a standardized format. What exists before anyone paints it? Yep, accurate. Cascading style sheets. This is how you style things and make them look pretty. So I can confirm for you that whatever we could probably fix this in the browser. So if we go into, we're using our dev tools, we use this button and we can start clicking on stuff that exists there. So we click on this one, and I can already tell that if we take this off, it'll look better. How did I know that? Because grid template columns, it's saying min max 0 and 1 frame. I think that's saying, like, honestly, I don't even know. I just know that, like, that doesn't have to exist. Maybe I'm just like used to it, because like line items, position, column gap, display grid, all pretty standard. On the other hand, grid template columns, that seems like the exact thing that's broken. So I didn't do it. What is it? There's that, I'm thinking of a Sopranos quote. So you write a note for the apprentice, sell 5 potatoes for ducks, plain. Oh yeah, so TypeScript is, I mean, if you're interested, we can go back to CSS, because that changed it for all of them. And we can go back to Claude. Pause here if you're interested. Pause here if you're interested. JavaScript. This is where like fancy stuff happens. I can go into any given one of these if you're interested, but I don't think me explaining it right now is really going to get it through to you just quite how powerful Claude is. Oh, here's Vite. I don't even know what this is. I use it all the time. How modern websites get from your laptop to your browser. So I'm not a potato grower. I don't know what any of this means. You wrote your stand, bin, signs, chalkboard, register. You need a truck that takes everything to oh yeah, sets it up for the moment you arrive and starts swapping in updates instantly the second you change a price tag, all without tearing the stand back down. Vite is that truck, or Vite. Quite quiet, fast, mostly invisible. It is the reason the manual reloaded. This manual is the reason this manual reloaded the moment a file. Oh, so Vite is the server. Okay, so it's both bundling and serving it. So the idea is like a hot reload server, as opposed to like having to cold restart. If I had to cold restart, I'd have to go here and say, not over here. Is it even running? I bet if I, oh, it's not running. If I hit refresh, it's gone. So I have to hit. So this running, Vite, all right, I should have seen that before. All right, so now it's back. We have to fix this again because we refreshed it. Is it that one or is it the other one? It was right, wasn't it? What happened here? Something wrong. We're back at Vite though, because this is what we're interested in. Vite is a development tool for modern websites. While you are working with it, it serves your site at a local address, and instantly updates the file when you change a file. Amazing. This is the, yeah, okay, so it's the hot reload server. When you're ready to ship, Vite bundles. All right, so I was right about that. Just was not aware that it was also the hot reload server. Bundles everything into a small, fast set of files you can upload to a host. It also runs under the hood, underneath the command in most React projects, including Hydrogen, which is Shopify's framework next door. That's our other project. So then, all right, now it's unacceptable. I have to fix this. I think it's because I didn't click this right. It's this one. The whole stand at a glance. Is that, which one is that? The apprentice keeps a small box of skills. Impeccable. Ooh, yeah, these are some skills that I'm using. A senior design partner loads, enforces some color rules, some gradients applied here, choose constraint. Yeah, like I like the colors. I like the shape of this. Like it was a single, maybe a couple prompts that got us here, but yeah, so that's our lesson for today. I'm glad that I got a video out. I didn't even think I was going to do that. So cheers.